Greg Doucette's the man. I love Greg. He's like a distant father that judges me from afar.
And so I'm like a distant dad, guys, the double Ds. I'm so old that I've gotten past unk status. I'm now at the dad status. Coach Greg, and I just got off the phone with Togi. He's in Mexico. It was 4 in the morning.
So I've been super lucky to have that entire experience. And now I feel, like I said, the smoke is cleared. The lens I see the world is completely different now.
Togi has found God. He's found Jesus. And that is amazing. And he says he hasn't abused recreational drugs for 30 days. Also, absolutely amazing. But he went on the Iced Coffee Hour podcast and they recorded a video and he answered some of my questions and also made the bold claim that he's way healthier than Coach Greg and that the blood work would prove it.
No. Well, I'm going to tag him in a post tomorrow and send it to him and say, all right, this is my blood work. You post yours. You can do the analysis.
Because I wasn't tagged in the post, I was trying to find out. This is why I called him. I'm thinking, okay, I need this blood work because obviously I'm going to be doing this video. But he wanted to get more blood work. And so I said, okay, I can do this video right now, get all his blood work. I can make another video specifically showing you how unhealthy he actually is.
Greg Doucette is going to say, wow, Togi's blood work is better. Because he's intellectually honest. He's going to say, wow, Togi really put up blood work better than mine.
And he says, I'm intellectually honest. This is 100% true. If his blood work is actually better than mine, I'm going to say it's better than mine. If it's worse, I'm going to say it's worse. I don't have a bias. Frankly don't care. If his blood work is better than mine, he needs to be studied. The world needs to know, because if he was able to go from how bad his blood work was back then to better than mine right now, Togi needs to be studied. I'm on the phone with Togi and I'm saying, where is this blood work? He's got to send it to me. And so he's saying he wants to get more markers. And so we're going to go over all of these things. But we know that his creatinine is higher than last time, despite everything. He also mentioned that his LH and FSH were very, very low. And I'm thinking, well, are you natural? Did you stop using all forms of drugs completely, including testosterone? He said, no, I'm on 200 milligrams of testosterone a week. And so, of course, his FSH and LH are low because he's getting his testosterone exogenously. And so why would his balls have to produce it? We're going to answer some of the questions. Remember, it's a long podcast for 2 hours. I suggest you go and watch the whole thing. But I'm going to pick the sections where they're talking about Coach Greg. Greg is going to have a field day with this one. More Coach Greg Doucette, please.
And now I can say with 100% confidence, my blood work is better than Greg Doucette. My blood pressure, better than Greg Doucette.
Does anyone believe that? And so consider this. I'm calling him at 8 in the morning and he's picking up the phone and it's 4 a.m. in Mexico. And he says, I'm about to go to bed. How many people who are up at 4 in the morning in Mexico, of all places, are going to have, let's call it, better blood work than Coach Greg? What exactly is going on at 4 in the morning when you're in Mexico? Guys, I've been to Mexico and I've been up at 4 a.m. And one thing you want to know is that nothing good happens after midnight. Now, by good, I mean good for your health. A lot of good things happen, but they ain't healthy. I need to know a secret. Perhaps it's his new supplements. And so if that allows Togi to have better blood work than Coach Greg, well, I have no idea how that's possible. He would clearly have amazing genetics because here's the real truth. He was abusing recreational drugs for years. He's had a number of problems. These problems don't simply go away as soon as you stop. And so that if it did, abusing steroids, sniffing creatine, doing math, all the things, well, it wouldn't really be a big deal because after all, you just stop and your body, it just gets better in a month. It doesn't work like that. And so I can guarantee when we go over his blood work, when he finally sends it in, that it's going to be worse than last time. And by worse than last time, I mean worse than mine. There's no way, as in it's physically impossible for Togi to have better blood work and to be healthier than Coach Greg. Now, if he were to, for example, lower his doses of testosterone, he admitted on the phone it was 200 milligrams a week, and supplement perhaps some Turk Builder Max, some GO2 Max, well, that would in fact improve his blood work, but it still wouldn't be healthier than Coach Greg. And remember, I'm on 140 milligrams of test and I'm riding my bike 10 hours a week and I lift weights twice a week. How are you going to get fitter than that?
He's 70. Yes, sure. He's like, whatever. How old is he? He's in 50.
He's in his 40s.
Either
I think
way.
he's 29. No.
There's no way.
And so I'm either 70, in my 40s, or 29, and I am in fact 50. And I know that a lot of people like to make fun of me. Oh, I'm older than last time. I look like foreskin, you name it. But in my humble opinion, which isn't humble at all, I think my opinion is better than 99% of people. I feel like I look younger than 50. I feel like I'm healthier than 50. You can say all you want about Coach Greg, but when you're 50, if you look better than this, and this is including claviculum, well, I need to see it because this is next to impossible.
But yeah, right. The point being is obviously I should have better blood work, but it was like a fun opponent. And obviously he's a good guy and he's always been rooting for me.
It is in fact true. I've been rooting for Togi to change his life around, to get healthy, to get off of the performance enhancing drugs, to stop using recreational drugs, to not promote gambling because Togi has a massive influence. And so if Togi says, look, I made a mistake. I was using these things, abusing these things, and I think that you should stop. My blood work, it's horrendous, and I'm going to be dead by the time that I'm 30, then of course I'm rooting for him. What would anyone think? That I would hope that he somehow continues down that path? I'm certainly praying that he's in fact off of the recreational drugs. He did in fact say that he's been off of them for at least a month, and that is very, very impressive. He was to the point where he was seeing demons. He was seeing strange creatures floating around him. That is your sign. It's time to stop. And so by Togi finding God and stopping the abuse of all of these substances, many people are going to follow in his footsteps. And so I had to congratulate him.
So either way, the first thing getting more healthy was no more steroids, no more hard drugs. That has gone a long ways.
When I was on the phone, I said, are you really off of the steroids? Because in looking at his physique, it doesn't seem like he's lost any size. And so I said, he must be still on testosterone, HRT, which is in fact a steroid. And he quickly said, yes, I'm still taking 200 milligrams of test a week. And so technically, being technical, he isn't off steroids. He simply lowered his doses. Now, 200 milligrams, in my opinion, it's perhaps slightly higher than HRT, but it all depends on what his doctor wants, on his blood work. And so if his testosterone is in the normal range, of which most certainly it is not, then that, my opinion, would be an HRT. I expect his testosterone levels to be through the roof. Remember, at 140, my testosterones are in the 800s. And so if he's on 60 milligrams more than myself, most certainly it's going to be well over 1,000. My personal opinion is that 200 is still far too high. It's going to increase his hematocrit, his red blood cell count is going to be higher. Essentially, it makes your blood thicker. It can cause problems with high blood pressure. It's still potentially going to take off years of his life. And so if I were coaching Togi, if I were telling him what to do, I would try to convince him to lower that to 100. Perhaps he would need to lower it more slowly. He's at 200 milligrams a week right now. Perhaps he could lower it to 180, 160, and continue to go until he's in the normal range. If he suddenly drops it down to 100, he might not have the same energy. He might not feel as good. But certainly lowering it to 200 from perhaps 1,000, that is a huge and massive improvement. Hard drugs, essentially, it's like sniffing creatine, sniffing various substances, doing math, etc. But it doesn't include, for example, smoking a doobie or perhaps doing some edibles, drinking alcohol. And my personal opinion is alcohol is just as bad or perhaps worse than many of the hard drugs. I know you don't want to hear this, but alcohol is literally poison. Every time you take a sip of alcohol, whether it's wine, whether it's beer, all of this, you're poisoning yourself. You need to hear this. It is a class 1 carcinogen. It's been normalized, become socially acceptable, But when you're drinking that alcohol and you compare it to, for example, when Connor Sinan was sniffing that Special K, no. The Special K is probably not even as bad as the alcohol. And consider how many people are dying of alcohol poisoning or the domestic abuse caused from the drinking of alcohol. I believe it's the number one worst drug in the world. Myself, personally, I stopped drinking alcohol 13 months ago. That was the last time I had a sip of alcohol, and I don't have a plan to ever have it again. Now, oftentimes people are trying to peer pressure you or pressure you into consuming it, and you simply say, hey guys, I gave it up. It's been a year. I'm this many months in. And hopefully they will then respect your wishes. Really? You've stopped for a year? Perhaps it's a month. You can say, hey, I'm 30 days sober. And so hopefully they will understand.
And then there's things like on top of that, all the peptides, the hyperbaric chambers, the red light bed.
I would strongly suggest if you are using performance-enhancing drugs or considering them, that rather than that, you go to AlgoRx. You can get your blood work done. Remember, these are qualified doctors, and they only will prescribe prescription medications. And so the peptides that are sold at AlgoRx, it's not, for example, Retta. And so they only sell things above board that are allowed to be prescribed by doctors. And so, for example, you all know that Ozempic and Tirzepatide are, in fact, approved for human consumption, but that Retta is not. Perhaps in the future it will be, but right now, if you're using Retta, you're in fact a guinea pig. And so please consider waiting until it's legal. Never break the law. If you're using peptides and so on that are designed not for humans, you are breaking the law. AlgoRx, not breaking the law. And so when I promote AlgoRx, I'm not doing anything wrong. It's all above board. They can sell you testosterone, aka HRT, enclomiphene, tadalafil, Cialis, Viagra, all the things. And so if you're interested, code Greg, 10% off. Click the link in the description.
But the main thing, the best three things for your health is stop doing hard drugs, stop doing high doses of anabolic steroids, and sleep 9 hours a night.
I think those three things are absolutely amazing. Great advice from Togi. And so if Togi continues to do this message, he's certainly moving up the ranks of being one of the better influencers out there, as he's suggesting for people to do very healthy things. Now, I would add to that doing cardio. It's so important. He didn't list cardio, but if you add in cardio, you're going to lose weight, you're going to improve your heart health. And so if he were to add in some cardio on top of that, I'm not saying he has to do 10 hours of cardio like Coach Greg each and every week, but please at least do the minimum. At least 150 minutes of cardio a week. You owe it to yourself. Togi says he's found God, and he asked God questions, and that God knows more than anyone. He's a lock. He knows. Ask God, God, should I be doing cardio? And you know what God is going to say? God is going to say, just listen to Coach Greg. Whatever situation you're in, I'm not sure if I should do cardio. I'm not sure if I should eat this. I'm not sure if I should drink that. I'm not sure if I should sniff this. You think, what would Coach Greg do? What would he tell me to do? And if you do that, pause. Your life is going to get better. You know, if you're not ready to listen to God, if you've already found God, hey, by all means, continue to follow. But if you're not listening to God, it's this next best thing.
I texted Greg Doucette. I have not seen this video. He has a video he wants to show you.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
I don't know what it is.
Greg, I know that you're watching this, and I'm very much looking forward to your reaction.
And so you can doubt me, you cannot believe me, but when they were not sure what to do, they texted good old Coach Greg. How does it feel to no longer be the world's worst fitness influencer and to have that title rendered over to clavicular?
Thank you, Greg.
Thank you, Greg. Love you, Greg. Thank you.
Anytime I hear thank you, Greg, which was probably 183 times at the Arnold Classic in Columbus, I immediately think of Mr. Mike.
Thank you, Greg.
I have to prevent myself from laughing. They're saying, thank you, Greg, and I want to start laughing. I'm like, well, that wouldn't go over well. It'd be like, what, am I mocking them for thanking me for taking a photo or whatever? And I'm like, no, it's the fact that immediately Mr. Mike is in my mind with my Kaiko bar. In case you are interested, you can use code CICO for 50% off. It's only $20 and it's 21 grams of protein and 230 calories. It's amazing that this doesn't sell out each and every day, but they are in fact in stock.